Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Mrs. Gordon. I'm not here with you today, but I'm going to go ahead and pre-record this lesson for you. Today should be Monday, October 5th. And what we're going to be doing today is going over an activity that's going to address blood glucose levels and how the body maintains a stable amount of sugar in the bloodstream. Now, if you're looking at your classwork section on Google Classroom, we have now organized the assignments by week. This is week 4. If you want to see the synchronous slideshow that goes along with today's learning, you can open that here. I'll show you what that looks like right now as well. Today is Monday, October 5th. What we're going to be doing overall is starting by answering the question on Google Classroom. That's a way for my substitute, Mrs. Van Vleck, to look in and see who's here today. So please do that. Person a favor, Mrs. Van Vleck is awesome. She really could use your support by answering that question on Google Classroom. After you answer that question on Google Classroom, the next step is to start looking at the resources on today's assignment post. So you're going to be I'm going to be doing a brief lecture about homeostasis and about the activity, and then the remaining activity pieces that you will find will be located right here where it says feedback loops, blood glucose. That's your required practice for today. Now, what I want to start with is this, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about blood glucose, and the important thing to remember about blood glucose is that sugar is important to us. Remember, we talked about carbohydrates in the last unit, and we learned that carbohydrates can be simple sugars or starches. Now, we are talking about simple sugars, that quick energy source for our cells. Things that contain sugar are characteristically sweet, honey, table sugar, fruit contains sugar, milk contains simple sugar. And so for today's learning, we're talking about why is it important to keep a balance of sugar in our bloodstream. So we need to recognize that too much sugar is a bad thing. Now, in order to understand today's activity, we need to go over this term homeostasis. And homeostasis, we think about this like a balance. When we have homeostasis, we have an equilibrium or a balanced point in which the body is happy and healthy. So the formal definition of homeostasis, a condition in which the internal environment of the body remains constant or level despite changes in the external environment. So we want to think about it. What conditions do our bodies need to keep in equilibrium so that we're comfortable, so that our cells are safe? Blood glucose is one of them. Some other examples you're going to see in the video that I posted on today's link as well. So you're going to see an example with body temperature as the big one, but there are lots of mechanisms in our body that need to remain stable, and that's primarily to keep our cells happy. What we're going to be looking at today in our activity is something called a feedback loop. And a feedback loop is a visual representation of how the body corrects itself if the body leaves this homeostasis or balance. And so we think about the body is not able to maintain a constant set point all the time. Our body temperature raises. Our heartbeat, it goes up. Our blood glucose, it increases or decreases. So what mechanisms are involved in our body to bring those levels back to their set point? So I'm going to escape this for a moment, and I'm going to go to my camera. Here it is. And we're going to talk about a feedback loop real quick. So here's this, the visual of a feedback loop. So our question today is going to be, what is a negative feedback loop and how does it work? You're going to have an activity all about feedback and blood glucose. So essentially a feedback loop is this. We have a homeostasis mechanism in our body. Let's say we're talking about body temperature. Okay. Homeostasis for body temperature for most people is about 98.6 degrees. Okay, so that would be homeostasis for an organism. Now, here's the thing. There are times when our body temperature is challenged, right? If we're in an environment that's extremely hot or extremely cold, this body temperature is challenged. So let's imagine we have a stimulus, as in we go outside on a cold day. Okay, so if we go outside on a cold day, So that's going to take our body away from homeostasis. So it's going to go away from homeostasis. It's leaving that set point or balance. Now we want to think about, what does the body do to respond to that imbalance? So if we get out in the cold environment, our body is going to have mechanisms to bring our body temperature back up. That could be our blood vessels constricting or getting smaller to hold in and maintain heat. Shivering, getting our muscles moving and producing heat that way. So those reactions are going to have an effect on the body to bring it back down to this homeostasis or set point. And that's the focus of today's learning today. I'm going to take this away for now. We're going to pop back over to your learning today. Okay, so your asynchronous work today, the work that you're going to be focusing on your own, is here in the classwork section. Okay, right after you're done watching this intro video, you're going to pop down here and watch this short 3-minute video on homeostasis to get a better example about homeostasis, particularly relating to body temperature. When you're done with that, you're going to open up today's activity. It's called a POGIL. Generally, if we were in a classroom, we would be working on this with partners. So I modified it a bit to make it work for remote learning. You'll notice on this document here, there's a picture that shows homeostasis of blood sugar. Now, a POGIL has all the information that you need to complete it right here on this document. You should not need to be Googling any answers. In fact, please do not Google answers for this. The answers that you're going to be typing here in the green boxes can all be found on this image right here or in the reading right here. So once again, this document is self-contained. You do not need to Google, and I hope that you do not try to Google any of these answers. The point of this activity is to look at the pictures and do that short reading and be able to analyze that picture to answer the questions below. So you're going to fill out all of the green sections here with your answers. Once again, those answers come from this visual graphic here or this paragraph here. Okay, when you're done, asynchronously today, your asynchronous to-do list is just to make sure that you answer today's question on Google Classroom. Make sure that you finish and turn in that blood glucose activity. I hope you guys have a great day. I anticipate being back on Tuesday. All right, bye guys.